I just saw the world's biggest glass of Coca-Cola, guys. There's a former Dragon Age writer who's saying that Expedition 33 and Baldur's Gate 3 prove what's possible when a game is given time to cook. This is coming fresh off the heels of Dragon Age of Veilguard absolutely flopping. And you saw all the woke journalists, you saw all the wokies, all the idiots out there trying to cope and seethe for Veilguard, and they still to this day refuse to admit that that game failed. It was a flop, okay? They couldn't get Steam users to play it. It became a PlayStation Plus game. Boom, like that. Even playing it free, I felt ripped off. I was like, okay, I'm so glad I didn't pay for this game. And I saw so many people just trying to be positive about the game on Twitter. There's this one guy that was a friend of mine who was all like, oh, thanks for the game recommendation, guys. Everybody that called this game out. Cope, okay? You know the game sucks. The game was garbage. The game was trash. And now we have this writer over here seething about it, using the excuse of that they weren't given time to cook. So let me get this straight. You're handed one of the most iconic RPG franchises in modern gaming. You're giving a full decade. Yeah, a full decade, guys. 10 years. You're also given hundreds of millions of dollars. Not just a few. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And then when this whole thing flopped harder than a wet pancake, you blamed the publisher for rushing you. Which is exactly what we're seeing here from this writer. You guys had 10 years, guys. Not 10 months. Years. You had 10 years. And that's exactly what's happening when you see this article with this former Dragon Age lead writer throwing a pity party because Dragon Age didn't get enough time to cook. Meanwhile, the games that they listed, Baldur's Gate 3 and Expedition 33, they're out here redefining their genres. Okay? They had fewer resources and they had way more heart with less time. Do you think Expedition 33 had a decade behind it? Do you think they had hundreds of millions of dollars? No. So let's talk facts, guys. The people that made Baldur's Gate 3, they earned their success. They delivered a masterpiece because they hired actual talent. People that want to make video games. They didn't go out and get activists that are cosplaying as writers, which most of the people that are writing in games now want to try to put their political agenda and their commentary on everything. And that's why I call it out. It's annoying. Nobody wants it, which is why Veilguard was destroyed. Alright? Expedition 33, it was built on a $50 million budget by passionate developers who cared more about crafting and experience than shoehorning in checkboxes. Oh, let's make a game that actually is fun for once. Was all it took. Is it the world's greatest game? No, not by any means. I thought it was pretty average at best, but it was still refreshing and a lot better than half the stuff I played this last year, and it will be a Game of the Year contender. Now let's compare that with Veilguard. The game had unlimited time, guys. Literally, they were given all the time in the world, unlimited cash, a beloved IP, and they still managed to bomb. Why? Because instead of making a fun, memorable RPG, BioWare stuffed it with shallow DEI nonsense. Top surgery scars. How cringe was that? Tumblr core dialogue trees that made players cringe right out of their chairs. And all these other people, these wokies are like, who cares? Normal people don't care about that. They just play a game and whether they like it or not. I saw somebody coping on Twitter about that. Yeah, I never have once thought, oh, DEI. Well, that's because you're woke. That's exactly why the DEI doesn't bother you. Normal people don't live and die by identity politics. They don't need representation. They just want good entertainment and stuff that happens actually naturally. Alright? Access media outlets, like PC Gamer, the ones that wrote this article, are basically gaslighting us when they write stuff like this. They're gaslighting us into thinking that Veilguard was critically well received. And true, maybe by critics because they don't know better and they're more obsessed with politics than actual gameplay. But where were the players? Tell me that. They didn't show up. Go look at the Steam stats. Go look at the sales. It's because nobody wants to play a game that lectures them while pretending to entertain. And let's go ahead and kill this not enough time myth, right? This, oh, there wasn't enough time to cook myth. Dragon Age was greenlit a decade ago. A full decade ago. Okay? They had writers, artists, coders, all working for 10 years on this damn thing. And you want sympathy because EA finally said, hey guys, can we release this game before 2030? Nah, miss me with that. Miss me with that, honestly. Cope. This is the result of hiring based on identity instead of skill. Okay, it's what happens when studios care more about Twitter applause and pleasing a modern audience than quality storytelling. And then when it all falls apart, they turn around and they say, it's not our fault, we were rushed. No, you were incompetent, okay? Meanwhile, there's smaller studios out there, like I said, putting out genre-defining titles. And what do they all have in common? They hire people who give a damn. Who knew how to write, how to design. They hired people who know how to deliver on expectations. Veilguard was the only game in comparison that failed. And then I guess Avowed might be a close second, right? But Veilguard was the one with the most time and money behind it. The most backing. Let that sink in. And I don't care how many articles PC Gamer tries to write trying to spin this whole situation. Gamers are not stupid. We see right through the PR. We know what real passion looks like. And Dragon Age Veilguard wasn't it. So stop blaming the clock. Stop blaming the budget. And start blaming the people in the room who decided that it was more important to write virtue signaling nonsense in their games instead of entertaining. Because that's ultimately what it comes down to. When you lost the plot, you lose it all. You lose the consumers. The majority of people don't want this nonsense. You can have all the time in the world to cook. This game was going to fail no matter what. And it's probably going to be the last Dragon Age game out there ever. And it ended on a wet fart. Terrible game. Terrible. Again, I had it for PlayStation Plus free. And I still felt like I was ripped off. Thank God I did not spend full price for that game. One of the most boring games I've played in my life. Take the woke stuff aside. It was still uninspired. It was still trash. There was nothing great about it. Terrible. Terrible. And they want to know why they're struggling. They want to know why they're struggling. Maybe take a look at what you're doing. Take a look at what you're pushing in your games. So anyways, I'm sure we will go ahead and get another crying article soon saying the audience is just too mean to developers. But maybe just people are tired of being served steaming piles of politically sterilized slop instead of actual video games. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Like the video or dislike it. And if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscription button. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. And I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching, as always, guys. Peace out.